Up next, Enterprise D review. Hey everybody, it's Kenny Conklin from SciFiantasy.com and welcome to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Enterprise D. Well, not me. Again, it'll be a review by Jason Marshall. So we'll take a look and see what he's got to say about this kit compared to the older kit. He's got the newer 50th anniversary edition. So again, I'd like to thank everybody that's been hitting the subscribe button and the bell notification. We've got a lot more people here, which is great. I hope you're enjoying the videos. And I guess that's about it right now. Let's get over to Jason and see what he's up to.
I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the new reissue of the Enterprise D. I've always loved this kit. I used to buy it way back in the early 90s, and I still have an original issue in the plastic, although it doesn't really matter to me because I will probably build this eventually. But this was molded in kind of a bluish plastic. And fundamentally, it wasn't that different. Or the 2010 version was the exact same model in clear styrene, except they included Aztecing decals, which was a huge thing. But that made the price point of this very high. Once again, in Canada, this was a $70 model kit. This is a $65 model kit and does not include decals, or Aztec decals, which I don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem buying them separately. My issue is, I'm sorry around to your price point is too high. So you're telling me that the decals are only worth $5? I think that's unlikely. Oil prices are lower in the last 2 years. China's devalued their currency where these are manufactured. The price point is unacceptable. Having said that, I still bought it from my local hobby shop because if I don't support them, then the supplies I need won't be around anymore, and I won't even be able to get paint. So that's unacceptable. So I haven't taken these out of the plastic yet because it's pretty straightforward. The biggest change, ABS plastic instead of clear styrene. I'm hoping that is a bit easier to work with, less brittle. I know on the 2010 version, when I went to sand off the raised detail, it took forever. It was very, very difficult to work with. And brittle. I actually broke a neck and had to buy a second kit. Here's what I like. They finally fixed it, so it's got the dome base and the single rod stand. As I said, there were no changes in the previous issue, the 2010 version, just the decals, which unfortunately, as good as they were still super brittle, and if you bent the sheet at all, they'd crack. It was terrible. So, dome base and clear rod, or sorry, hollow rod. So, thank you very much for that. That's gotta take the good with the bad. I really appreciate that. So no messing around for your wiring. You know, upper secondary hull, cobra head, and all the little bits and pieces, your deflector, impeller, warp grills, saucer, oh goodness, Bussard collectors. Same thing. The instructions, although with a new cover, are still essentially the instructions from 1987. And I actually kind of appreciate that. Just a little bit of nostalgia for us old guys, I guess. But then they make the improvement at the back, you know, it kind of shows the ship with the rod and dome base. And I'm sorry, I believe there's a painting guide, decal and paint guide for both versions, the TV version and the Generations version. So you can go either way. Truth is, I might eventually like to do two, one with the original light sea and pale green, and then use this one with their decals, because I really love that intricate paint scheme from Generations. As for the decals, no Aztecs, but this isn't terrible. You have the lifeboats, which are just so much nicer for detail, much better versions of the RCS thrusters, and they got decals for these little detail guys on the back of the nacelles. If I got something to show you on that. For comparison, here's the 2010 issue. As you say, I've got multiple parts because I have two of them. The lower secondary hull, as I said, in the 2010 issue, does not have the dome base adapter. It's still the old mounting system, which was god awful. Here's the lower secondary hull, which I have already sanded, so this is all smooth. So the only thing you have are the windows and the etched lines. Yeah, so as you can see, it's just a much better look, especially when you have the Aztec decals. This is where I differ from the model. These are other pieces you can get. Things I'd highly recommend, like the trench covers and photo etch for the phaser strips from Dawn's Light and Magic. Trench covers, as you can see here, I've already hogged this out. So when I want to run wiring to the engines, they go up here. That's where these trench covers come in. That is essentially it. Now, this does go up too high. On the studio model, it's stopped about halfway up the pylon. But that gives you an idea of what, so you don't have to worry about filling. You can just use this piece, which is actually far more accurate to the studio model. The highly detailed phaser strips, I won't be using transporter emitters because they were actually a decal. So I'll be using the kit supplied decals for that, and that'll take care of that. But these phaser strips are truly wonderful. Now, I got a couple other pieces here. They're not in production anymore. Hopefully, here is the accurate neck from Tetrion Parts. He has closed the store indefinitely. I heard a rumor that it might only be temporary, and he may go back into business, and I hope he does, because this neck is beautiful. Impulse exhaust port is just perfect. And he also sells the little adapters that go in the back of the nacelles. Now, DLM sells a kit, or used to sell a kit. I'll put a picture up. Hopefully you can still get a hold of those. The little recessed windows for the lower saucer that go behind. It actually goes right here in front of the captain's yacht. Now, this is another thing Tetrion had. I was able to get them before he closed down the shop, but accurate impulse nozzles. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Gives you a bit of a comparison. And I don't have the new decals to show you. These are the original run Aztec decals that came with the Enterprise D. Also, the other thing, Tetrion Parts for the neck sends you the replacement piece. The colors are a little bit off compared, but should be all right. I do like this though, the detail, the grill detail in the impulse engine. That was the original decal sheet from back in '87 to pre-2010. You see, these look very good, but they're kind of difficult to work with because, like the Romulan Bird of Prey, the original TOS one, if you bend your sheet too much, these decals fracture. They split. They're like glass. I didn't realize that until I started working with them, and it was very unfortunate. Now, Cartograph, the new company they're using, is apparently very good, and they made some changes to make these a bit more user-friendly to work with. For example, this detail is separate now. That's just one example. So I know they've broken the decals down considerably from where these are, so it's just a bit easier to work with. You don't have to do, like, the instructions tell you to, cut these here and here and here. The new decals, I believe, have corrected that issue, so you can just water slide them and put them on. So these were good, but as you can see here, you can see where that's fractured, and that's just not cool. It's very difficult to work with. So once again, this is an excellent model kit, and I love the design of this ship. I'm just disappointed with the pricing point, but that's just me. Some of you may not have an issue with it. And the truth is that, as irritating as it is, if you don't support your hobby shops, they won't be there when you need them. So keep that in mind. All right. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll talk to you again.
Well, thanks for stopping by and watching another video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to Jason for doing the video for us and showing us what was going on with the two different Ds. So, if you got any questions or comments, just drop them in the comments section below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And don't forget, if you get a chance, come over to SciFiantasy.com, register at the site, and join us over there. This way we could get that community growing too. So have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you all soon. Take care, and bye-bye.